They just broke the bloodline forever and WWE doesn't realize what they've done. Jacob Fatu is bleeding on the floor, Solo Sikoa is holding the Ula Fala above his head like a trophy, and somewhere in Stamford, Connecticut, a writer is patting himself on the back completely blind to the fact that they just either made the greatest decision in bloodline history, or committed the most unforgivable act of self-destruction WWE Creative has pulled off in years. Let that image burn into your brain for a second. The Ula Fala, the sacred symbol of the Anoa'i family, the physical representation of power, lineage, and respect within one of the most celebrated dynasties in the history of this business, ripped from the neck of Jacob Fatu by the same man who already ran Roman Reigns out of his own family. Solo Sikoa didn't just take a piece of jewelry, he declared war on blood itself. And I need you to tell me right now, drop it in the comments, do you think Solo Sikoa stealing the Ula Fala from Jacob Fatu is the single most disrespectful act we've ever seen inside the bloodline story, yes or no, and why? Because I have been covering this storyline since the moment Roman Reigns first uttered the words "acknowledge me," and I am telling you with every ounce of conviction in my body what happened after Raw this week has permanently changed the trajectory of not just the bloodline, but potentially the entire landscape of WWE television. And the frightening part, I don't know if WWE Creative is smart enough to cash the check they just wrote. Let's rewind. Let's set the scene properly, because this moment deserves context. Jacob Fatu arrived in WWE like a force of nature. This is a man who was born for this stage, born for the lights, born for the violence. The youngest Fatu on the main roster carries a pedigree that would make any wrestling historian lean forward in their chair. Nephew of the Wild Samoans, cousin of Roman Reigns, a man who paid his dues in MLW while WWE slept on him. And when he finally debuted in the bloodline, standing behind Solo Sikoa like a loaded weapon in a silk holster, fans erupted. Not because of nostalgia, not because of a cheap pop, but because Jacob Fatu is undeniable. His in-ring work is ferocious. His presence is suffocating. His moonsault from the top rope from a man his size should be medically illegal in 14 states. He is, without question, one of the most physically gifted performers WWE has had under contract in the last decade. So what does WWE Creative do with a talent this gene-rational? They make him Solo's attack dog, they keep him leashed, they keep him subordinate, and now they've given Solo a reason to bite him. Here's what I want to know, and I need your honest opinion. Leave your answer below right now. Was Jacob Fatu ever booked to his full potential as part of Solo's bloodline, or did WWE creatively sabotage him from day one by keeping him in a supporting role? Because this is the conversation we should have been having months ago, long before Solo wrapped his hands around that Ula Fala and tore it away like it meant nothing. Jacob Fatu was operating at maybe 60% of his potential ceiling inside this faction. 60%. A man capable of being a world champion, a man with the physical tools, the family legacy, and the hunger, and WWE had him playing bodyguard. And now they want us to believe that Solo turning on him is a surprise. This was inevitable. It was always inevitable, because when you suppress greatness, greatness eventually explodes. The only question was which direction the shrapnel would fly. Now let's talk about Solo Sikoa, because this man has been on an absolute rampage of character work that deserves every bit of credit we can give it. Solo Sikoa went from Roman's enforcer, loyal, silent, dangerous, to the self-appointed tribal chief of a faction built on fear and intimidation. He exiled Sami Zayn. He turned on Jimmy Uso. He brought in Jacob Fatu, Tama, Tonga, and Tanga Loa to build his own empire. And for a stretch of time, it worked. The new bloodline felt legitimate. It felt threatening. It had teeth. But here's where creative started losing the plot. They forgot to give Solo a real challenge from within. The greatest faction stories in wrestling history are not about unity, they are about fracture. The Four Horsemen didn't become legendary because everyone got along. DX didn't shake the foundation of the Attitude Era by holding hands. The original bloodline became appointment television because of the tension between Roman and Sami, between Roman and the Usos, between loyalty and survival. And now, with Solo taking the Ula Fala from Jacob Fatu, we might finally be getting the fracture this new bloodline has desperately needed. Here's a question that I need you to answer in the comments right now. If Jacob Fatu goes full babyface coming out of this betrayal, does he become the biggest babyface reaction on the SmackDown roster? Could he be the guy to finally give this era its defining hero? Think about it. Think about the pop that building would give when Jacob Fatu's music hits and the crowd realizes he's coming for everything Solo took from him. Think about what that feud looks like at a premium live event with 20 minutes and no restraints. I'm getting goosebumps typing this, and I refuse to apologize for it. But here's where I need to pump the brakes. Here's where the fan who has been burned too many times has to speak louder than the optimist. WWE has a pattern, a deeply frustrating, deeply infuriating, deeply insulting pattern of taking moments like this sacred, electric, this is the one moment, and fumbling them with the precision of someone who has never watched their own television show. We saw it with Karrion Kross's return. We saw it with the Judgment Day's peak momentum being killed by indecision. We saw it with Sami Zayn's betrayal storyline dragging 3 weeks past its expiration date before finally paying off at WrestleMania. WWE Creative has a gift for arriving at the right destination via the wrong route and arriving late. So when I see Solo Sikoa holding that Ula Fala, when I see that image, that genuinely powerful, genuinely meaningful image, part of me celebrates and part of me grips the armrest of my chair and whispers, please don't waste this. Please don't waste this. And I need to know where you stand. Drop it below. Do you trust WWE Creative to properly execute the Jacob Fatu singles push coming out of this storyline, or do you think they'll bury the momentum within 3 weeks? Because the comments I've been seeing across wrestling social media since Raw went off the air are divided. 50% of this fanbase is on fire with excitement. 50% has seen this movie before and knows how it ends. And both sides have receipts. Let me tell you what the right play is. Let me tell you what a booking committee that actually respects its audience would do with this story. Jacob Fatu needs a promo, not a backstage segment, not a title card graphic. A promo, in the ring, microphone in hand, where he looks into that camera and speaks directly to Solo Sikoa with the full weight of his family name behind him. Let Jacob Fatu be human for 5 minutes. Let him be furious and hurt and dangerous all at once. Let the audience see the man behind the monster, because that is when babyfaces are born, not in victories, in vulnerability weaponized as rage. Then you build the chase. Slow, deliberate. You let Solo taunt him with the Ula Fala. You let the insult sit and fester. You let the audience's hatred for Solo compound with every passing week until by the time we get to the blow-off match, the crowd isn't just cheering, they are desperate. They are demanding. They are on their feet before the bell even rings. That is how you make a star. That is how you make a moment that people remember 10 years from now. The question is whether WWE has the patience to do it right. Here's your trivia question for the day, and I want serious answers only. Name one moment in WWE history where a stolen symbol or title belt led to a better long-term storyline payoff than it seemed possible at the time. One example. Comments now. And while we're here, let's acknowledge the elephant standing in the middle of the room wearing a lei. Roman Reigns is watching all of this. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table, the man who built this entire architecture, who took the bloodline concept and turned it into the greatest long-term storyline WWE has produced in the modern era, is sitting somewhere watching Solo Sikoa parade around with a Ula Fala that was never his to take in the first place. You cannot tell me that Roman Reigns' return doesn't connect to this. You cannot tell me that the endgame of Solo's reign of terror isn't Roman Reigns walking back through that curtain and reclaiming everything. The Ula Fala, the respect, the acknowledgement. And if Jacob Fatu is the one who cracks Solo's armor, if Fatu is the one who draws blood and weakens the wall before Roman comes crashing through it, then this could be a multi-layered, multi-act masterpiece that rivals anything this company has produced. Right now, in the comments, what is your prediction for how Roman Reigns re-enters this story? Does he return to save Jacob Fatu? Does he return to confront Solo alone? Or does he return as something we haven't even considered yet? I want predictions. I want theories. I want you to make the case for your scenario like your life depends on it. Because here's what last night reminded me: underneath all the frustration, underneath all the bad booking decisions and the creative misfires and the moments that made us want to throw the remote at the television, underneath all of it, professional wrestling is still capable of making you feel something so real, so immediate, so visceral that you forget you're sitting in your living room. That image of Solo holding the Ula Fala, whether it's the beginning of something brilliant or the preview of another disappointment, made you feel something. It made you react. It made you search for this video at midnight because you needed someone to talk about it with. That is why we don't leave. That is why we come back every Monday and every Friday. Because wrestling, at its absolute peak, is the only art form that punches you in the chest through a screen. And Jacob Fatu deserves to be at the center of that feeling for the next year of his career. Don't let them waste him. WWE. We are watching. If this breakdown fired you up, if you felt every word of this, smash that like button right now. Not later. Not after the next video. Right now. Because the algorithm doesn't care about passion, but you do, and your click makes sure this reaches every wrestling fan who needs to see it. Share this video with the most passionate wrestling fan in your life, the one who texted you after Raw, the one who has opinions louder than a steel chair shot. They need this conversation. Subscribe if you want the most unfiltered, fire-in-the-chest wrestling coverage on this platform. No corporate spin, no kayfabe protection, just truth, just passion, just wrestling. And in the comments tell me everything. Your predictions, your frustrations, your hope, your anger. This is your space. This is our space. The Ula Fala has been stolen. The war has been declared, and it's only just begun.